The official story of human civilization is a neat, linear progression from primitive hunter-gatherers to the first farmers, then to cities and empires. But this tidy narrative contains a profound and unsettling silence. In the academic record, there exists what is known as the prehistoric problem, a gaping 6,000-year chasm between the emergence of so-called modern humans and the sudden, explosive appearance of complex civilization. For millennia, our ancestors were supposedly stagnant, leaving behind little more than simple tools and cave paintings. Then, seemingly overnight, we have Sumeria, Egypt, and the Indus Valley, complete with intricate social structures, advanced mathematics, and monumental architecture. This explanation isn't just unsatisfying, it's statistically improbable. It suggests a trigger event, a catalyst that is missing from the records. What if the story isn't one of slow evolution, but of a great forgetting? A history that was violently interrupted, its preceding chapters almost entirely erased. This isn't about questioning history, but about questioning the completeness of the history we've been given. The evidence for a far older, more sophisticated chapter in the human story is not hidden in fantasy, but etched into stone and buried beneath the sea, waiting for those brave enough to look. Our first piece of physical evidence against the conventional timeline is Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, a site that fundamentally rewrites the dawn of civilization. Dated to nearly 12,000 years ago, it is 7,000 years older than the pyramids of Giza and 6,000 years older than Stonehenge. Here, on a remote hilltop, people who are officially labeled as primitive hunter-gatherers erected dozens of multi-ton limestone pillars in perfect circles. These were not crude monoliths. They are covered in sophisticated, highly stylized carvings of predators, insects, and abstract symbols. To construct Göbekli Tepe required a level of organization, resource management, and shared mythology that archaeologists simply did not believe possible for a pre-agricultural society. It suggests the hunter-gatherers who built it were anything but simple. More startling is the evidence found on Vulture Stone, Pillar 43. It appears to depict a precise celestial event, a catastrophic comet impact that coincides perfectly with the date of the Younger Dryas, a mini ice age that began around 10,950 BC. This wasn't just a temple, it may be a memorial, a detailed astronomical record of a world-ending cataclysm built by the survivors of a civilization we never knew existed. If Göbekli Tepe is the opening chapter, our journey then takes us halfway across the world to the Bolivian highlands, to the ruins of Puma Punku and its sister site, Tiwanaku. Here, the mystery deepens from how to how is this even possible? We are confronted with diorite and andesite blocks, some of the hardest stones on Earth, weighing over 100 tons. They are cut and shaped with a precision that baffles modern engineers. We find perfectly drilled holes, intricate interior corners, and H-shaped blocks that interlock with a uniformity suggesting mass production and a standardized system of measurement. The surfaces are polished to a glass-like smoothness. Mainstream archaeology suggests these were created with simple stone hammers and sand. This explanation defies logic and physics. These structures don't just look advanced, they exhibit the clear hallmarks of high technology. More than that, the site is a scene of utter devastation. These 100-ton blocks are scattered like children's toys, thrown about by a force of unimaginable power, perhaps the very same cataclysm recorded at Göbekli Tepe. Puma Punku does not whisper of a lost civilization. It screams of a technologically advanced one that was violently erased from the timeline. The evidence for this forgotten world isn't confined to dry land. As the Younger Dryas comet impact melted the ice caps, sea levels rose by nearly 400 feet, submerging vast coastal plains where ancient populations would have thrived. It is logical, therefore, that the greatest secrets might lie beneath the waves. Off the coast of Japan, we find the Yonaguni Monument. Discovered in 1986, it is a colossal underwater rock formation with flat terraces, straight steps, and sharp, defined angles that strongly suggest it was carved by human hands. Geologists debate whether it's a natural formation, but many features, like the so-called turtle rock and apparent post holes, defy simple geological explanations. If artificial, its last time above water would have been over 10,000 years ago, during the last ice age, placing it firmly in the same epoch as Göbekli Tepe. Similarly, in the Gulf of Comet off the coast of India, sonar surveys in 2002 revealed the submerged ruins of a massive city spanning 5 miles, 9 kilometers beneath the waves. Artifacts dredged from the site, including pottery and construction materials, have been carbon dated to 9,500 years ago. These submerged worlds are not myths. They are tangible locations that directly challenge our understanding of coastal settlement and the timeline of urban development, pointing to a vast, drowned chapter of human history. While stone monoliths and submerged cities point to a lost physical world, another form of erasure may have been more deliberate: the destruction of knowledge. The burning of the Library of Alexandria is remembered as a great tragedy, but its full implication is rarely considered. We think of it as a loss of poetry and philosophy, but ancient sources described it as a repository of all human knowledge. This included detailed histories stretching back tens of thousands of years, technical manuals, and global maps of stunning accuracy. The library was a project to collect not just the knowledge of the Greco-Roman world, but of every civilization known, including those considered ancient even then, like Egypt and Babylon. Its destruction wasn't a single event, but a series of fires and purges over centuries, almost as if history was being systematically curated and cleansed. What if the library contained records that contradicted the emerging orthodox narratives of history and power? What if it held the technical blueprints of Puma Punku or the star charts from Göbekli Tepe? The loss of the library wasn't just a fire. It was a surgical removal of our planet's memory banks, creating the very void in our history that allows the standard, simplified model to exist. It represents the potential for a hidden history to have been intentionally and permanently suppressed. Even within the accepted historical record, there are artifacts so technologically advanced with their time that they defy easy explanation. These out-of-place artifacts, or OO parts, serve as glitches in the matrix of conventional history. The most famous is the Antikythera Mechanism, a 2,000-year-old bronze device recovered from a Roman shipwreck. For decades, it was a mystery, but modern imaging has revealed it to be a breathtakingly complex analog computer. With over 30 interlocking gears, it could accurately predict lunar and solar eclipses and track the positions of the planets. The level of mechanical engineering and astronomical knowledge required to build it would not be seen again on Earth for another 1,500 years. Where did this knowledge come from, and why did it vanish? Then there is the Baghdad Battery, a 2,000-year-old clay pot with a copper cylinder and an iron rod that, when filled with an acidic liquid like vinegar, produces an electric current. While its exact purpose is debated, its existence proves a principle of electricity was understood millennia before Galvani and Volta. These objects are not isolated curiosities. They are data points. They suggest that pockets of incredibly advanced scientific and technical knowledge existed in the ancient world, knowledge that does not fit the linear progression of history. They hint that the past was not a monolithic age of ignorance, but a complex tapestry of rising, falling, and forgotten genius. When we assemble these pieces, the astronomical genius of Göbekli Tepe, the impossible technology of Puma Punku, the drowned cities in India and Japan, the targeted destruction of knowledge at Alexandria, and the technological anomalies like the Antikythera Mechanism, the official narrative of our origins begins to look less like a complete history and more like a heavily redacted document. The evidence does not point to a single conspiracy, but to a recurring cycle of cataclysm and recovery, of advanced societies being wiped from the slate by cosmic events and geological upheaval, leaving behind only faint, powerful echoes. The history we are taught is not a lie, but it may be only the most recent and perhaps not the most impressive chapter. The greatest secret hidden from us may be our own resilience, our own forgotten potential. The question is no longer, did a sophisticated global civilization exist in the deep past, but rather, what did they know? And what can they teach us now? The story of humanity is far grander, more tragic, and more mysterious than we have ever been told. The clues are all around us, waiting for the redactions to be lifted.